Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga. And this is episode number 972. 972. Episode number 972. Whoever says dos, what's going on? How you doing? How you feeling? Hope you're good wherever you may be. I am doing well. Thanks for asking me. Welcome back to the number one cultural commentary podcast in the world. Come and get you live and direct from an undisclosed location somewhere in East London. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing fine. I'm doing pretty great. Not gonna lie. I've just watched some highlights. I watched a little highlight reel of Paul Pogba's first game back playing football at the highest level at Ligue 1 from Monaco for the last, I think, 5 minutes of their game versus Rennes. I think Monaco faced Rennes away from home. Unfortunately, I think they lost like 4-0 or 4-1. It looked like they were down to 10 minutes for most of the game. But Paul Pogba got a nice sort of run out. I think he played like 10 minutes because they had quite a lot of added time towards the end. I'm assuming probably because of the red card and whatever else it may be. And one of the things that was really striking about seeing Paul Pogba on the pitch again was just a reminder of just how special of a player he is in terms of his overall like physique, in terms of his overall style, in terms of just what he brings to the pitch and what he brings to the team. For some reason nowadays, we don't really see that midfielder, you know? We don't really see that kind of profile of a midfielder anymore. They don't really exist. Because Paul Pogba's like what? He looks like he might be 6'2", 6'4", right? Super ripped, super jacked guy, very muscular, but still has, you know, the ability to kind of drop a shoulder. He essentially is like 6'2", 6'4". He's probably best positioned is playing as a number 4, number 6, number 8. No. So let's say number 6, number 8, right? Which means he's a bit more deep line playmaker. He's not really box to box. He's not really number 10, but he can play there if he need be. He's got the dribbling skills, the close control of a number 10. He's got the passing range of a number 6. And he's just all the way, and obviously he's both footed, can shoot from long range. If anything, I'd say in terms of his only weakness, if I was Paul Pogba, I think one of his only weaknesses is that he's not dangerous enough in the air for me, you know? Given his size, given his actual heading ability, I don't think Paul Pogba does enough when it comes to winning headers, when it comes to threatening teams in the box with free kicks and stuff. Fair enough, some of the times he's taken the free kicks, but if he could be more a threat in the box with headers and stuff, he'd be an animal. But he's so special. He's so special. Like, I've truly forgot just how special of a player he was. Spent 2 years out. Obviously, we know why. We don't need to litigate and go over that anymore. But it was so refreshing to see Paul Pogba back on the pitch again, doing what he knows, doing what he loves. It's so fucking impressive. And I can't wait to see him get back up to speed. I can't wait to see Paul Pogba get back up to speed, get his match fitness. Because, you know, he's been 2 years out of football, but you know, like anybody knows at that kind of level, especially Ligue 1, a lot of people say that a lot of transfers from Ligue 1 and to the Premier League usually work out. There's not a lot of duds. A lot of those transfers work, and the reason why they say that is because I don't really watch Ligue 1, to be fair. When it comes to foreign leagues, the most I probably watch probably La Liga, a little bit of Bundesliga here and there, and maybe some Serie A, but Ligue 1 is usually my blind spot. But I have heard and I have read people say that Ligue 1 is probably the closest to a Premier League. Sometimes they even compare it to a championship. It's very high octane, very up and down, very physical, which is different to German League. The German League is also a very high octane and up and down, but the defense isn't as good in Germany. Everyone kind of defends with a high line. But in France, they kind of, you know, defend and play similar to how they do in the UK. So if you're a club in the UK and you want to send a young player out on loan, they usually advise you send them over to Ligue 1. If you're going to buy a Premier League player in like January, but you don't want to buy somebody, if you're a Premier League club, you want to sign somebody in January, but you don't want to run the risk of buying someone from La Liga where the game is a bit slower, or Serie A, then you go to Ligue 1 because they're usually kind of like used to that kind of pace, used to that kind of aggressiveness and physicality. So obviously Paul Pogba's been used to that, playing for United and stuff for 2 stints. He's no problem, but it's going to demand a little bit more. It's going to demand way more. So he's going to have to get really fit really quickly to kind of affect and help Monaco for their season coming up. But just seeing him on the pitch, man, was delightful. I'm not going to lie. There's still a chance, you know. There's still a chance. It's very slim, but there's still a chance, given what he's done for his country beforehand, that if he has a good end of the season, he could potentially sneak into that World Cup squad. Because it's not, you know, France don't have a player of his liking there. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the players love him. I did see a post from Mbappe. Mbappe posted on his Instagram stories, like, you know, basically with him kind of playing towards the end, a picture of him and shit. So I would assume a lot of those French players who won things with Paul Pogba, who just know he's kind of the quality he can bring, would be more than happy to have him in the squad. I'm sure the France fans would be happy too. But it's going to be a stretch. It's going to be a real stretch. That's going to be probably the hardest thing he's going to have to do between now and the end of the season. Try and get to a level of fitness and performance where he's able to kind of push into that France team. Because France, God Almighty, France's squad is stacked. When it comes to midfielders, when it comes to attackers, their squad is stacked. The amount of people they leave at home, you know, the amount of people that don't make the squad is crazy, you know. So they have so much talent in that area. So he's going to be finding it really hard on his best day. Now he's coming back off of a 2-year, you know, layoff. So it's going to be really, really difficult. But I'm hoping he does make it. I really do hope he does make it, man. I'm a big fan of Pogba, man. Big fan of him as a player. And I really do hope he figures it out, because we need to see more of those players. Like, he's just exciting to watch. I mean, he's not boring, not predictable. Even towards the end, like, he kind of won possession off of a player next to their box. Kind of like did a Cruyff turn, no look pass. Don't get me wrong, you see we're losing 4-0, but still, man, the beautiful game, bro. At least a beautiful game. A couple Cruyff turns, a couple dropping with the shoulder, left foot, right foot. Like, oh, so fucking good to see. That languid running style of his, running up and down to receive the ball, ability to receive it on the half turn. And one thing I noticed too about Paul Pogba as well, I think all great players have this, because they have such good close control. And because they have an ability to receive the ball on the half turn, and because of the ability to kind of drop a shoulder left or right, it makes defenders wary to kind of jump in quickly. So they have more time on the ball, which is, it's counterintuitive really, because from what when I used to play football, especially in cages or like, Sunday league, if somebody was really good on the ball, you would slide into them. You'd kind of run into them in order to kind of foul them, injure them, to kind of put them off their game, or just to kind of give them something to think about. But I think at those sort of levels, at that professional level, it's no point, because if you run into Pogba at full speed, he's gonna put that ball through your legs, and now you're suddenly out of the game, and now the fucking whole pitch opens up for him. So you're better off just letting him actually get the ball, and then kind of like stopping the pass or like stopping the play once he kind of lets the ball go. But either way, great to see him play. Can't wait to see more from Paul Pogba. Glad he's back. Glad he is freaking back. Talking about being back. I was reading, or I was checking out this really interesting article that I saw online that was really, I was kind of fascinated to try to explore why this is currently happening. But I do like it, and I'm hoping that overall this would kind of like change the conversation online, when it comes to these gender wars, culture war conversations, and we'll get to a far more interesting place overall. This is this article here, courtesy of The Telegraph, which is titled as the follows: Women beat men to 100k salaries. Women beat men to 100k salaries. It's the article courtesy of The Telegraph. It says nearly a quarter of high-earning women have secured a six-figure salary by the age of 30. Pretty astounding stuff, by the way. Pretty flipping astounding stuff. Let's read a couple of paragraphs before we continue. High-earning women are beating men to £100,000 per year salaries before the so-called motherhood penalty takes effect, new research has showed. Nearly a quarter of women surveyed by the HSBC, which is a bank here in England, who currently earn 100k a year or more, had secured the six-figure salaries by the age of 30, compared to 21% of men. The women who are also more ambitious about their earnings in the next 5 years, hoping to increase their salaries by 184,000 compared to men's 57,000 target. The survey of more than 1,200 people earning more than 100,000 found. Emmett Tilt, the head of digital wealth at HSBC UK, said, "This data shows that high-earning women are increasingly outpacing men in their financial journeys, with more women achieving six-figure salaries before the age of 30. This marks a real shift in momentum as confidence and capability in wealth management comes more evenly distributed across genders." Pretty impressive, right? Pretty cool. First thing I liked about this article is that it just lays it in black and white. right? And I like that now going forward, we're not going to have these boring conversations about the gender pay gap and all this fucking malarkey, which kind of muddies the water for the most part, especially if you're in Western world. I think for the most part, across the board in most like first world countries, people are going to be paid, regardless of gender, around the same sort of salaries, really, for the most part. I think when it comes to places like the UK, the main issue that we have, I think, is the lack of transparency across the board. I think whether you're a man or a woman, I think the fact that we don't openly, I think in America it's different, but in the UK or maybe mostly Europe, you're not really told. Actually, I'm not gonna say Europe, because there are some countries in Europe where I think it's somewhere in Scandinavia where they have a database of everyone's salary. Like you can just go to a library and type someone's name and it'll tell you what their salary is. So it's kind of open. So there are some places in the UK, well, in the UK specifically, some places in Europe where culturally or societally it's not encouraged for you to discuss your salary. But I think a lot of companies get away with murder, not because of the gender pay gap and stuff and, you know, wanting to treat men better than women and shit. I think they get away with murder because people don't discuss their salaries. And also people in general in this country don't seem to negotiate their salaries. There's a real kind of like, I won't say it's a taboo, but people seem to be really scared about, you know, requesting more money, demanding of, or, you know, maybe kind of, you know, having a meeting about maybe having a promotion, or when they go for an interview for a job, maybe demanding a little bit of money, maybe kind of, you know, making sure the contract is done in a way that kind of, you know, serves your needs, blah, 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 blah. So I'm glad to see that stuff is changing now, because it seems like people are more open to it, more talking about it in general. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about this topic is that people would, your automatic kind of like thinking would be, the lazy thinking would be, oh shit, all these girls are making money on OnlyFans. That'd be the lazy thinking, right? OnlyFans is popping now. All these girls are flying to Dubai. They're going to Miami and shit. That's how they're making their money, which I don't think is necessarily true. I think that whole kind of like city girl lifestyle, that whole like passport girl thing sort of thing, it's a very small percentage, I think, of most women. I think most women out there, you know, number one, in order to be a girl that gets flown out to Dubai, you have to be of a certain fucking level of physical attractiveness anyway. So that's going to limit who is going to be. What I think is happening, and that's something I've noticed online myself from being plugged into the tech startup side of Twitter, which is really fun. I have noticed a real sisterhood, a real sort of like collective movement online with a lot of women. I've noticed a lot of like influencers in that kind of tech startup space who organize kind of like get-togethers, conferences, who put together resources on how women can get certain qualifications to enter certain industries that are usually not women kind of like populated. I'm seeing a lot of women putting other women on and sharing codes and secrets about, hey, get into cybersecurity, here's how to get your fucking license, a certificate. I'm seeing a lot of people sharing that stuff, and mostly about women. And you see a lot of these girls will be like, hey, this is a woman's only thing, this is a women or like women of color only thing. They don't include men whatsoever. It's just always about, okay, cool, let's get my sister on. And I've also noticed too, there's something I've also seen in the last few years, which again is not only OnlyFans. I've seen a real big increase in girls doing that picture that they will do where they kind of have their keys up in the air and they kind of take a picture of themselves like in their kitchen with the keys, right? I think I've seen way more of those pictures with girls than I've seen of guys. When you do see guys usually with that picture of like, oh yeah, hey, I just got my first apartment, I just got my first condo, it's usually with a girl anyway. It's usually a couple buying their first house, kind of like about to start their family. But you don't really see a lot of solo guys. If you do see solo guys, they're usually these like, you know, corny, lame crypto startup guys. But I think the girls in general are killing it when it comes to home ownership. I've seen, there's a couple of girls I think I remember going viral on my side of social media for having crazy car collections. There's one particular girl, I'm pretty sure she wasn't even an entrepreneur. She just had a really high paying job. And she just happened to have like, you know, 6 really nice cars. Like, and it was like a decent range, like, you know, from a G-Wagon to like a fucking BMW here and there, like just a whatever. And as well, I think I've seen a real, like I said, increase again in women kind of owning businesses, small little businesses that they do, whether it's a clothing brand, whether it's something involving cosmetics, hair and beauty, whether it's people owning like even the whole salon thing. There's a big kind of trend of black girls, especially in North America, who have their own like salon. Sometimes it's in their home, sometimes they travel to different places, blah, 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 blah. And I think all those things have definitely allowed women to kind of progress and go up. And as well, I think in general, if I had to fucking guess, I would say in general, you know, if women kind of apply themselves in school, most of the times in most schools I've been to, they usually are able to succeed way more than guys. But I think in the workplace, if I'm being honest, I think in the workplace, that's where they really separate between us men. I think they have an ability to kind of stick with the suck more so than guys. Like, I can think of times in my life where I've had like, situations or circumstances that haven't been the greatest, haven't been the most comfortable, haven't been the most fulfilling, haven't been the most whatever. And the first thing you want to do is quit and go somewhere else. You want to leave and just go somewhere else without even maybe securing another job. Whereas I think women, maybe it's just an ability to kind of endure pain, due to their cycle, due to the fact that they can fucking, give birth. I don't know. But they definitely have an ability to suck up a lot more bullshit than we do. I think we have an ability to kind of sometimes throw our toys out the pram, get fucking discouraged and go. And obviously, if you know anything, you'd know that most people, if you just survive long enough, I think that's why they say boomers, in that kind of way, how to make money. The way to kind of really sometimes achieve wealth and to kind of get out of fucking poverty is just to live long enough. If you live long enough and you stay in employment, you can essentially, climb yourself up the socioeconomic ladder just by simply just staying alive. And if you stay in the company long enough and you're somebody with experience, you'll sometimes get given promotions, you sometimes get given pay rises, just irrespective of your level of kind of output and work, just because you seem to be one of the only ones that is over the age of 40, over the age of 50, that's still there sort of thing. And obviously you can assume women can kind of, hang on to those jobs more. But I've also, like I said, noticed a real big increase in women deciding to go to work in areas that are not usually traditionally dominated by women. Something like cybersecurity, or developing in general. I think I feel like I've seen way more startups nowadays with like product teams, and there's way more girls in it than guys. And in the past, if you knew anything about working in startups and stuff, most of the tech side of things, most of that sort of team was usually full of geeks, and they're usually always dudes. There might be like one girl in there, but it's usually full of dudes. But nowadays, in recent years, I think I've seen a lot more, parity, a lot more of an even split in terms of guys and girls. So clearly some women are deciding to go to college or uni and studying fucking computer science, or they're picking up a course on the side, doing some sort of certification or something, just to kind of build up their skills that way. And then of course, once they do that and they enter the job market, especially if you've got those sort of qualifications, your earning potential, first job out of the gate is going to be crazy high. And obviously, with dudes, if you're doing the same old job you done before, earning 50k and shit, you're never going to be able to out earn women in that regard. But I really do like that this is a thing. I really do like that this is a thing. Article continues. It says Rachel Pearson, a business strategist who works with female entrepreneurs, said many high earning women are no longer following the traditional timeline of marriage, children, then career. They're building financial independence first, layering family and personal choices later. Financially, women are also becoming more active investors. Research shows they often outperform men, taking measured, consistent risks, and that lead to stronger long-term returns. Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing as well. I think there's definitely more women out there who are maybe, let's say in the past, women were probably trying to start families or were happy to be pregnant like in their early 20s. Now people are pushing it back 10 years and maybe doing it in their early 30s, maybe pushing it back 10 years again, late 30s, early 40s, which is obviously risky for women, don't get me wrong. But still, if that's the case and you're pushing back your ability to kind of start a family, then you're also going to be able to earn more in that time. But part of me also wonders if this is partly due to us as well, men. I wonder if women are making all this money now is partly our fault. In the way that, most women out there would say that the dating market is pretty bad, right? You hear a lot of women say it's pretty fucking terrible. You see all these girls sharing screenshots of like, not so nice interactions they have with the male counterparts on dating apps like Hinge and whatever else it may be. I wonder if there's a lot of women out there who are just like, okay, cool, the dating market is a bit shit. I'm not going to allow some bozo guy to knock me up and kind of, take away, like, take me out of the game for like 20 years in terms of earning potential. I'd rather just like enjoy my life, do what I'm going to do. And then somebody of worth comes along the way, then so be it. But then on the flip side, I was also wondering just now, actually thinking, I wonder if also this is a consequence of like these TV shows and these YouTube series. Do you remember I think there was a thing back in the day. I forgot where it was. I think it might be in America. I think when Teen Mum, right, when that somewhat reality TV show Teen Mum started, I remember there was a big thing about a certain area, a certain state in America where there was a high percentage of like teen pregnancies. And they said when they started airing Teen Mum in that particular state or in that particular area, literally like instantly the rates of kind of teenage pregnancy dropped, because kids were able to see what it actually looks like, right? It's different when your parents are telling you, you know, to protect yourself and to not lose your virginity too early and just shouting at you that way, or maybe your school is telling you. But when you're watching on TV, when you're watching kids, you know, that look like you, sound like you, same age as you, struggling to kind of figure out how to become, or trying to make the fucking teen mum, teen parenting work, it can definitely put kids off to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. You know, I'm going to wear a fucking protection. I'm just going to abstain from, you know, sexual intercourse in the first place and focus on the work. So I wonder if this is in part relating back to this, all of these shows like Pop in the Balloon, right? Those Pop in the Balloon shows, Dating in the Dark, all of these shows, Love Island, even to a lesser extent. A lot of us, when you watch those type of shows, you're not just watching it for entertainment, you're also kind of watching them for like a life lesson. It's kind of, you're kind of projecting a little bit of yourself onto the situations and thinking shit, you know, or maybe you're relating to it to your own situation as well. So I wonder if people watching these type of shows is making them a little bit more picky. It's making them a little bit more choosy. It's making them a little bit more, it's making them consider their choices more. They're not going to be quick to just settle down and just settle with anything, you know, which I guess is a bad thing and a good thing. I feel like you're seeing a lot of girls nowadays, or women in general, deciding not to settle for the first thing that comes their way. There are still some birds and some bozos out there that will just take whatever's given to them, who feel like, you know, if somebody shows them any inkling of attention or care or love, that they deserve everything from them, which is obviously horrible, like the bare minimum or something. There are some girls out there that have no fucking standards and shit, yes, but I think by and large a lot more women are way more choosy, a lot more picky than they were in the past, obviously because of, you know, you'd imagine social media too opens up the world to you. You see a lot more different types of people around the place. You're not just kind of confined to finding somebody within your fucking 10 to 20-mile radius. But I would definitely wouldn't be surprised if some of those popular balloon shows have kind of shown women that, you know what, the game out there or the field isn't that great. Don't be so hasty to kind of settle down with somebody, and instead let's get this money, you know, let's get this fucking money. Because I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels like they've seen an increase. I feel like on my social media, I feel like if I'm just talking anecdotally, like I don't really check my stories too often, but when I do, I feel like a lot more girls on my social media or my Instagram account are out kind of enjoying their lives. You know, I know guys are different and we don't really share the same way women do, but I feel like whenever I open up my stories, there are way more women in my kind of orbit who are like out, you know, somewhere in some fucking villa, you know, they're out somewhere on some sort of excursion, they're going to some nice restaurant, they're going to some porto bar. I feel like they're enjoying life, and if you're enjoying life, you've probably got a lot of disposable income, and if you've got disposable income, it means you're making a lot more money. So I think anecdotally, I've definitely seen that kind of shift on my side of things. It continues. The average UK salary is currently just above 38,000 a year, 7 less than the Chancellor's reported at working people threshold of 45. Is it? Okay. I'd love to know what's the US average salary actually. I'd love to know that. What is that? USA average salary. What is that? What? That's not true. No way is that true. Honestly, the earning potential in the US compared to the UK is crazy. According to Google, they said the national average salary in the US is $63,795. No way is that true. That is the sum of the incomes divided by a number of workers where someone lives their industry education level. Fucking hell. That is insane. But then I guess on the flip side, they don't have free healthcare. You know, that's a big thing. They don't have free healthcare. The housing thing in the US is crazy too. When it comes to HOA and taxes and this and that, it's a minefield. It's a fucking minefield when it comes to home ownership. You know what I mean? You're paying so much fucking money. So I get it, but still, it's kind of depressing, isn't it? Because I remember actually once, which I shouldn't have done. It was a big mistake. I remember once checking I remember once I Googled how much my equivalent role would be in the US. And I think at that time I was working as like a social media manager, quote unquote, right? You're not really managing anyone, managing yourself. And all you're doing is basically posting stories and blog posts on fucking social media. But I remember when I was doing that job and I checked online, I think at that time I was working for a pretty decent startup and I was making like 30K a year. And I remember I checked online and it told me that the same role in the US would be like 50,000, 60,000. The same role in the US would be 50 to 60. I was making 30 grand. And I was thinking I was balling at that time, right? I thought I was balling. And they were, and my counterpart, my equivalent in the US, sometimes not even a social media manager, sometimes a social media coordinator or social media fucking assistant, they were getting paid 50 to 60K. Jesus Christos. So can you just imagine what it must be like in the US when with the women getting on it and figuring it out? You know what? If I just figure out this fucking computer shit, if I sit down and figure this out, like, oof, God Almighty. Let's continue. And I have a feeling too. Maybe it's just again, this is coming out of nowhere and doesn't make any sense. But part of me also kind of feels like women will be better at like repetitive tasks. Sorry. So imagine if you had to do some role. I don't know what it is. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But imagine if there was some role that involved computers. That meant that every day you came in, it was almost repetitive. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's some role in IT or some role in fucking development or product that's quite repetitive. It's just the same tasks, it's the same sort of functions, or the same prompts. I'd imagine a woman would be far better at that sort of repetitive role than the guy. I think a guy would get probably impatient, will probably get bored, will probably get frustrated quicker than a woman. So if that role makes a lot of money, if that role has a high earning potential, you could imagine a woman could kill it just sitting there. Do you know what I mean? If she figures out that that's an option, you got to figure out it's an option first. You got to know it's a role that you can do. And then once you can do it, boom, you're off to the races. That's crazy, isn't it? It continues. It says, while 100,000 was once a salary very few workers earned, wage inflation means hundreds of people now earn six figures. But while this figure has increased dramatically, various tax thresholds have remained frozen. So this is the thing, right? This is the problem with earning 100K. Let's say salary calculator, right? My favorite site here in the UK. The problem with earning 40 or 100K in the UK is the following. If you earn for 100K in the UK, look how much tax, look how much you get. Look at your take home. So according to Tax Home Calculator, which I use all the time, I'm sure most people in the UK use this, salarycalculator.co.uk. If you earn a salary of 100 grand a year in the UK, your take home, your monthly take home after all the fucking taxes is only 5 grand. Yes, it's still 5 grand. It's a great amount. You could do a lot with 5 grand in London even. You could do probably way more with 5 grand in fucking up north. But your gross amount is 8K. Right? Your gross amount is 8K. Your taxable, and you get taxed 2,200 plus 334 is taxed off of that fucking 8K. Crazy. That's the problem. That's the real fucking issue. Like nearly half of your salary, monthly salary, is gone straight, or not even nearly half, yeah, but basically nearly half is gone straight up on taxes. That's the only fucking problem when it comes to this sort of thing. I guess the only thing you can do, which I've heard, I'm not too sure if this is true, but I've heard online, once you get a job, if you're on that sort of threshold, you can negotiate so they can kind of increase it, or I forgot what the threshold is, but you can increase it or decrease it. Because there's you know what I mean? So you can reduce how much tax you pay. Or I've heard a lot of people do this thing in the UK where they pay you like you're either you're an independent contractor or an LLC, so a limited company. That's also a way to kind of get around having to pay so much tax. But that's the only problem in the UK with earning that amount. Like you'll get taxed up to fucking wazoo. You know what I mean? That's basically a 40% tax, I think, right? 40 to 50% tax on that kind of amount. Is fucking crazy. It continues, says most penal is the so-called 60% tax trap, which occurs at the income between 100 grand to 125 a year. This trap exists as for every £2 earned over 100 grand threshold, a taxpayer loses £1 to their 12,570 tax-free allowance until it's gone. Jesus Christ. While men generally earn more than women overall, the gap is quickly shrinking. fucking incredible, really, by the way. Difference between media and UK salaries you see there. Before the age of 30, the UK's gender pay gap for full-time workers peaks at 1.23%, according to the office. For workers in their 30s, the gap jumps to 3.9%. This is caused by women taking longer career breaks than men to start families, which stunts earning growth. The gender pay gap has significantly closed in recent decades, falling more than a quarter in the last 10 years, from 19.3% to 12.8% from all across employment. However, the report earlier this year found that UK's gender pay gap has been consistently underestimated for more than 20 years, since 2004, and the ONS failed to properly account for the receiving more data from a larger employers than a report of the British Journal Industries and Relations found. Often confused with equal pay, which is two people being paid different wages for the same job, the gender pay is a cruder metric than its average of male and female salaries across different industries and levels of seniority. A company or sector gender pay gaps are generally skewed if pressure, particularly female orientated services. Yeah, I think you're seeing less of that too, by the way, anecdotally. Maybe I'm in the wrong here, but I feel like you're seeing less of that anecdotally, where you're not seeing as many girls like deciding to go into like predominantly women centered roles. And I'm also seeing a lot more education. I'm also seeing a lot more girls online basically saying, hey, run away from these female dominated industries. Try your best to not have a manager that's like the same age as you and a woman. It's going to be hell. Do you know what I mean? So they're navigating the workspace a lot easier. They're a lot better than before. They're not particularly going to fucking industries where they're very female dominated, but also don't pay that much. And deciding to go to maybe harder industries to get into, but that have a way higher ceiling and sometimes can really kind of play to their strengths in terms of how they approach work and sometimes of their point of view and stuff. So I love to see it, man. I love to fucking see it. It's a really refreshing, and it's going to be an interesting world we're going to be living in a few years, especially when some of these Gen Z girls decide to get on this train and start doing the same thing as well going forward. It's going to be a very interesting world we're going to be living in that way. Confirmed. Let's read what you guys are saying in the stream chat regarding this issue. Big up Don Dotto. That stat makes sense. More women in uni and grind in white collar jobs for 5 years to manager to senior and job hopping. Exactly. Very good point there, Don Dotto. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think even in your friendship group, you're probably, if you look to your own friendship group, you're probably likely to find way more women in your friendship group who did the whole uni thing, did the whole career projection thing, worked at a place and stayed there for 6 years, worked her way up, got promoted, and are now earning like crazy amounts of money, as opposed to most guys who maybe on the way to graduating fell down, had to stay again, repeated a year, then went to go work somewhere, it didn't work out, then went on a gap year, then went backpacking through fucking South America. You know what I mean? Like, we're all over the place, but I think a woman, once they lock in, they fucking lock in. Yes, you can agree with more parity in the workforce. Engineering manufacturing company I work for has more women than men, and management is 1-to-1 ratio. Really? Big up Don Dotto. That's fucking crazy to hear. Engineering architectural company I work for has more women than men. Very interesting. That's fucking cool as fuck. I love that. Big Booth. I see the opposite of the way too much. That means that someday someone works more, which is fair. The traditional way is dying, and I think that's for the better. 100%. I'm also just fed up with the debate. I fed up with that fucking gender pay gap debate, because I feel like overall, like, we all get fucked. I feel like the idea that these companies are purposely trying to pay men more, it's like, bro, most men are pretty terrible at their job the way some women are pretty terrible at their job. It's not as if you're getting a better worker. Do you know what I mean? If anything, we should all be trying to earn more money and stuff. Big up Big Booth as well. Depends on the state too. People in Florida generally make less in certain fields. Really, I didn't know that. I think what happens as well is people start living way above their means and think that is normal. Yeah, I think you see less of that nowadays. I think there's way more, maybe again, I'm just speaking from my anecdotal evidence, but I think there's way more financial discipline and education and understanding than ever before. I don't think people are as dumb. I don't think people are as reckless as they were in the past. At least the newer generation, anyway. I don't think that's the case. Big on Dota, in fairness, at least you do get your money's worth in tax and healthcare. Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people in this country wouldn't swap. Like, personally, I would. I'm different. I think I would swap a higher salary for free healthcare, because then I'll just get private healthcare. I wouldn't really mind too much. But I do think there is something to be said for that ease of mind, that peace of mind of not having to pay for healthcare, Also just, you hear some of the horrible reports, horrible fucking stories of people who, have to call an ambulance, and the amount you have to pay for the ambulance call out to get, the treatment, simple things like aspirin in the hospital and shit, the aftercare is fucking crazy. People going to debt for that sort of stuff. Or that also increases the likelihood of having this like weird, because I think in America you guys have that kind of weird medical black market where people are getting cosmetic surgeries done in back of vans. They're getting fucking they're getting their legs fucking put in casts in the back of someone's garden. They're getting all these fucking things done with people because they can't afford to go down the traditional or the private route and shit, right, to pay for it. So that's fucking horrible. But yeah, I love to see that. I love to see what I'm seeing. And then again, Lin Mei also spoke about it as well. Let's quickly check her out. Lin Mei also spoke a little bit about this as well. What did Lin Mei have to say about this issue with the women earning 100k, getting to 100k quicker than men?
How has this happened?
You know what's interesting? I want to hear her say, because she's always talking about how if a man isn't earning a certain amount, you're broke and you shouldn't be talking to girls, and men need to earn this, men need to earn that. If these stats are to be believed and women are just earning way more than men, then the idea that men have to earn a certain amount to kind of get your attention kind of goes out the window, isn't it? Really and truly. Because there's only certain, depending on what area or what industry the guy works in, he has definitely a ceiling. He's definitely going to have a ceiling, and I don't think it's fair, I guess, to count the guy out because he decided to work as a fucking plumber, or he decided to work as a fucking builder, or decided to work in an industry and maybe doesn't pay as much as what the women earn. But let's hear what she has to say.
How have women under the age of 30 managed to secure 100k salaries quicker than men under 30? It just blows my mind, considering that women weren't even able to get a bank account before 1975, and now women seem to be flourishing in the workplace.
That should be celebrated, by the way. That should be celebrated. There's a lot to be said about the gender pay gap, gender disparity, gender wars in general, the culture wars online, men and women shouting and arguing at each other. But the progress, minorities have made, the progress women have made, is really, really to be fucking applauded. And we've come a long fucking way. It should be really held up and kind of applauded.
Also, we're seeing a rising trend of women wanting to buy property alone more than men. One lender said that their applications for mortgages was 11.5% higher than men.
But I also wonder if that is skewed because a lot of women can't really have flatmates in it. Like whenever I remember that when the time did happen, when there was a time in my life I was looking for a place to move out to from my parents' house, I do remember seeing quite often loads of listings that would be like, yeah, women only, women only, women only. Do you know what I mean? That's a really big thing, and I'd imagine it makes sense as well because of safety and whatever else it may be. So women can't necessarily do what the guys do and just live like six in a house or just around. I mean, you can't be very picky, very selective. So I guess maybe that kind of like requirement where you just have to have your own space kind of in a weird way forces you to then pick a job that would pay you a certain amount to afford that own space, because you're going to need to earn, especially in a place like London, you're going to need to earn a lot of money to be able to afford your own place. Even if it's a fucking studio apartment or a bed sit, you're going to have to need a lot of fucking money. So maybe that's part of it.
So what does this mean? What does this mean for the future? Can women still demand that men be the breadwinners, pay for the dates? Should men be in their soft boy era, stay home, do the cooking, the cleaning, the school runs more?
She wouldn't want that. That's the thing. You wouldn't want that, You wouldn't want that. Definitely, I don't think most women would really want that. Maybe if you're in a relationship and those things sort of happen and you have to kind of, divide your task about what you guys do and shit, or divide responsibility, split the responsibility. But I think in the beginning, I don't think a woman kind of seek out to find a guy that can be a stay-at-home husband. I don't think that's the case. So that's definitely not going to happen.
Or does that change the whole dynamic? And then for the men who are screaming, we don't care about women who are independent, who, are masculine, is it too late? Have women left men behind?
I think we should all rise each other up. I think what we're seeing now with women is fucking great, but we should all rise each other up. I think men should educate themselves as well on maybe improving their education, improving their fucking certification, improving their skills, maybe looking at industries that are maybe not so common, thinking a little bit outside the box, and or maybe just sticking with the job that they have and trying to progress up, you know what I mean, and trying to earn promotion instead of jumping from job to job, like something I've done as well in the past myself. So I think that is something people should do, especially minorities. I think a lot of us are probably maybe not the most, I know for myself anyway, educated on the kind of jobs that you can do out there. Once one person does it, obviously you find out if one of your guys does fucking cybersecurity, suddenly all your friends are doing it. I know that happened a little bit with the fucking deliveries, right? Or during the pandemic, a couple of guys in started that figured out the fucking Amazon thing, figured out the fucking Ocado thing, figured out the fucking delivery Uber Eats thing, and they were fucking, you know, there's a bit of a money glitch earlier on in the pandemic during lockdown especially, and they fucking banged it out. So it really does take one person kind of coming back and saying, hey, I work in this industry. It's probably like, I remember there's a couple of people that I kind of heard in my social group, or people that I've kind of known in the past, who have kind of got into working in the oil industry, working for drilling companies and whatever else it may be, and those sort of positions earn quite a lot of money, or just literally working on an oil rig, you know, where you kind of work there for like 6 months, 9 months at a time. You earn a crazy bit of money. It's a little bit antisocial. It takes you away from everybody and stuff, but there's a lot of earning potential there as well. And there's obviously a lot of job security in that kind of thing. There's a lot of people that do that job, so you're probably very much in demand. So all those things are important. You know, one person has to do it, can't report back, say there's money there, and suddenly everyone's doing it. But I loved it. I love to hear it so far. Big up the women out there. Big up the blood clot women out there. Moving on and talking about something a little bit sad, bringing the tone down slightly. Do you remember that horrible fire that took place in Macedonia? I think it was a few months ago. There was a fire that broke out in a nightclub in Macedonia, a very popular nightclub. I think one of the biggest stars, rappers or something of that country was actually performing in that club for whatever reason. And you know, it's just a standard horrible story where they oversold the event anyway. So it was kind of, you know, way overpacked, but they also was a club where they kind of cut the corners and didn't really sort out any sort of fire safety or whatever else it may be. They were warned ahead of time that something would go wrong, and if it would go wrong, it would be fatal. In the end, a fire did break out in the nightclub and ended up killing quite a lot of people, 63 to be exact. And this is a small town somewhere in Macedonia. You can imagine what that's done to the kind of local community. And it's one of those kind of 1-for-1 situations where it's because of a lack of health and safety precautions that people died. If the event wasn't so oversold, if they took real precautions of making sure that, you know, they had adequate fire protection, nothing bad would happen. So the blame solely lies on the people who ran the club, and now they're literally on trial for the deaths of those 63 people. So I can only imagine all the pain that's been brought back up revisiting this story in exhaustive detail. But this is the article courtesy of the BBC that speaks about it, because the court case is ongoing. It says dozens go on trial over North Macedonia nightclub fire that killed 63 people, 35 people, and three. Oh, the owner of the club is nearest the camera. Of course, that's the owner. Look how scary and weird he's looking there. The 35 people, and 3 institutions have gone on trial in North Macedonia over a devastating fire in a nightclub that killed 63 people, mainly young people. The quote says, "I know about the pain of loved ones. We're all parents," says Judge Diana Gosek-Ilevska today at the crowded courtroom for the defenders, dozens of victims' relatives. She promised the case would be conducted in a transparent and disciplined manner. Club Pulse, the eastern town of Kosania, was packed with young Macedonians attending a concert by a that's the thing. Yeah, popular hip hop duo. If I'm not mistaken, they died as well. This popular hip-hop duo from Macedonia, they also died, if I'm not mistaken. I saw a video of it. The video is harrowing, because if I'm not mistaken, I think the fire started from the stage area. I think the nightclub even looked like it was full of carpet. It's one of those, you know, those sketchy Central European, Eastern European sort of nightclubs. It looked like a vibe, but, you know, full of fucking carpet and loads of things that you could light up. And if I remember correctly, I think the fire started around the stage area and kind of dropped down, and then everyone kind of scampered, and it was too late and shit. Prosecutors to the trial that years of failings had turned the club into a death trap. 3 former mayors of Kokani, the nightclub's owner, and public licensing officials are among those charged. Wow, 3 former mayors. So essentially, they're basically saying 3 former mayors who could have helped to change or fix that club up and get it up to spec didn't. Kind of, you know, oversight, they're also to blame. That's impressive, man. They're definitely trying to make sure everyone responsible is punished or is held accountable, at least. They are accused of endangering public safety by allowing an unsafe venue to operate. The judge warned a court that the trial could last for 5 months or 5 years. Defense lawyers attempted to delay the court the start of the proceedings due to the charges being merged into a single case. The judge rebuffed them, ruling this did not violate any rights of the parties. At the time of the tragedy, authorities said that only one proper exit was functioning at the club as the back door had been locked. They locked the back door and there's only one exit with all those people in there. Jesus Christ. So I'd imagine some of them probably just died from simply trampled, innit? And not even from the fire. Sparks from the pyrotechnics spread across the club ceiling, which had been made of flammable material. God almighty. About 500 people were inside the club at the time, leaving 59 dead and some 200 injured. 4 of the injured died later. Many were unable to escape because of blocked exits. Exactly. Outrage after the fire prompted protests in Macedonia capital Skopje, however you pronounce it. How do you pronounce Skopje? Let's see, how do you pronounce it? Is it Skopje or Skopje? How do you pronounce that? Pronunciation. Skopje. Let's see how you say that.
Skopje.
Skopje. Oh, Skopje. My bad. I said Skopje. Jesus Christ. It's Skopje.
Skopje.
Skopje. Okay, Skopje, Macedonia. With the victims' families organising local marches in Kosan in Kokani. So that's all the protests of all the people that passed away, all their faces, all the relatives. Fucking awful, man. Awful. Another protest titled March of the Angels took place in Skopje days before the trial began, organised under the Macedonian social media campaign called Who's Next. Prosecutors told the trial that the Kokani disaster was not the result of one person's actions or mistakes. Rather, it arose of a series of institutional failures and a lack of responsibility. None of the defendants had wanted to face up to the danger, had been there for years, according to the prosecutor Borchi Janev. Prosecutors alleged the licenses of the club were issued unlawfully, inspections were not carried out, and overcrowding was allowed at the venue. Another allegation is that there was no permit for the band to set off the pyrotechnics devices that started the fire. Jesus. If we remain silent and lose the truth, we will never have the strength to society to break the path of healing, says Janev, was quoted by local media. So yeah, RIP to all the victims. Hopefully they come to some sort of good conclusion off of this, and the people that are responsible are held accountable. Obviously it goes without saying that none of this is going to bring anybody back that passed away. That's the real tragedy of this whole situation. No matter if everyone's held to account and punished adequately, none of the people that passed away are ever going to come back again, but at least it'll do a little bit to kind of let the families rest the people in peace, or to allow them to rest in peace, and maybe give some of the family a little sense of closure, a little sense of closure. But what an absolute tragedy, and hopefully lessons have been learned going forward, and this doesn't ever happen again. Hopefully. Big up Our Legacy and CP Company. Our Legacy and CP Company linked up for a pretty sick collaboration. There's also available this really cool zine. Limited quantities available from the 21st, purchases online and on shopping, which I really like. I feel like there's been a lack of these over the last few years. I don't know why. I guess maybe because it just costs a lot of money to make, even if it's just basic fucking A3 paper folded in half to make an A4 fucking zine. But I feel like there's less and less of this nowadays. But this was what made, being into streetwear or maybe being into fashion kind of interesting, where you'd purchase a little capsule collection clothing or just something in general, and the store would put into your parcel for free a lookbook, a zine from a local artist or from a brand, to kind of give you an idea on what kind of, the world that this brand was sort of trying to create, to kind of transport you somewhat, maybe give you some styling tips for the stuff that you wanted to wear. I've always thought this sort of stuff was really cool. And I always thought as well, because I've made some zines myself over the years, just the creation of them alone is a really fun process, It's a really fun process to put it together, to figure out how the spread works, writing little bits of tutorial, personal notes and stuff, handing them around. I remember going to a couple of zine symposiums back in the day here in London. I'm not sure if we usually had them every year, to be fair, and they're really fun. Usually kind of in zine culture, you usually don't even pay, you usually barter. So, if you have a zine that you created, you usually barter with somebody else and you get another zine and you swap them back and forth, so forth and so on. So this is a really cool one that they've done for the CP Company and Our Legacy collaboration that kind of gives you some really cool lifestyle shots of the collection itself. But the actual collection itself is banging, I'm not going to lie. A lot of it is, really expensive, I'm assuming. But some of the stuff, the coats, some of the hats and stuff, some of the shirts, like it's so fucking good. So fucking good. I even like some of the clips as well, the pictures I've taken of some of the models. It looks fucking cool with the fucking mohawk and shit. That t-shirt one of the models has on is fucking amazing. Obviously the goggle hood that we all know and love from CP, a nice Oxford shirt, some corduroy pants. You got a blazer here with a hood. You got the jacket, the parka. You got a nice little jean shirt. That looks like some sort of pajama pant there. I ain't mad at that. And oh, I like the Our Legacy label, by the way. I ain't mad at the Our Legacy label with that yin yang sign. Our Legacy 1980 to 1980. I don't know what that's about, by the way. What does Our Legacy 1980 to 87 mean? Usually when you have your date of May, or maybe that's usually when you have your founding date on your clothing, it usually just one date the year. You don't put like a range. I wonder what that range date is all about. Continuing on, we got like an overshirt too that comes in 2 colorways. It looks like they're like an overdyed in a white or an ivory. There's also like a thermal waffle knit sweater as well. That looks really cool. There's the goggle glasses that has, oh, that's really cool, by the way. The goggle glasses has Our Legacy text written on one goggle and CP Company on the other. That's a really nice touch, not gonna lie. And yeah, really nice parka. I forgot what that style of jacket is called. I've got a couple of these actually. This particular style of army of a parka, it's usually come in olive green, and they've got really cool chest pockets here. They can put your hands in on the side there. But that looks like a really nice wash as well. These pants are really great. The pocket design I'm not mad at as well. Pinstripe. There's a nice t-shirt that says we compliment Our Legacy, and also there's a hood as well. But I think on the website there's better pictures. So this is the actual full range. So this is that. Okay, so this is the quarter zip. Kind of looks like the quarter zip that all the kids are into nowadays. Actually, this Our Legacy, what was it? Oxford anorak. Oh, is it? Okay, is technically that's an anorak and not a quarters. I wonder what's the difference between an anorak and a quarter zip. I always thought an anorak had to have a hood on it. I'm not gonna lie. I always assumed an anorak, and the difference between a quarter zip and an anorak is that a quarter zip would usually have a zip and no hood, but an anorak would always have a hood on it. But I guess you can have an anorak without a hood. But that's an anorak. I quite like the design here on the collar. I wonder if that's buttons or sleeves, not too sure. Comes in a few colors. There's also an Oxford field jacket that I ain't too mad at. It kind of looks a little bit like an M65, but it's not really. Only thing I don't like about the jacket are these buttons. I'm not the biggest fan of these big buttons on the flaps of the pockets at the bottom. I think they're kind of hard to close when you got something in it. They're a little bit annoying to open easily. So usually if I have buttons like that on my jacket pocket, on my pockets on my jacket, I usually just keep that pocket open, but it defeats the point of keeping something in it. But obviously it's really big. It can fit quite a lot of things there. You probably can fit a sandwich and a book in one pocket, but I don't really like these buttons. I think they're super annoying to kind of open up and down and shit. Ooh, that anorak comes in leather. That might be the best one. That looks really good. This is kind of giving me Jerry Lorenzo Fear of God vibes. I'm not gonna lie. When he did that collaboration with that, I forgot the Italian fashion brand that he collaborated with. I think it's Zegna. I think it might have been Zegna. This is kind of giving me Fear of God Zegna vibes in terms of the cut and the materials there. That's fucking beautiful. That leather piece. Oh, look at the price though. 1,575. So the leather version is 1,575. The non-leather version is 450. Yeah, both are really expensive, but I'll go for the 450 option. You know what I mean? I'll go for the 450. And that's the jacket I was talking about earlier, that army jacket. So what's it called? They call it a Maize Bee Parker. That's beautiful. The shape of this is fucking gorgeous. I'd say maybe if I'd be picky, if I'm being nitpicky, I think the sleeves are a bit short. I think the sleeves on this are a bit short. They look a little bit short, the sleeves, but overall, I ain't mad at it. Great piece of layering there. You can probably layer this on top of a denim jacket, on top of a hoodie, on top of even probably a down jacket like what I'm wearing now, and it'll still look fucking great. The colors, there's 2 colors it comes in. One a navy, and there's also this like stone colorway. This like khaki colorway, which I would prefer if it was more grey. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder what are these buttons here at the front? I think these buttons are probably to attach the hood, right, with the goggles. There's these little buttons here at the front there. But I would probably like it in a more of a khaki green color, but I'm not mad at it. There's the blazer also. This is the overshirt thing, right, which is technically called an Ottoman stretch long sleeve shirt. There's also what's it? Is that an Oxford long sleeve shirt there? There's also a bit of knit. There's a turtleneck. There's a waffle long sleeve, which is fucking gorgeous. It kind of looks like it fits like a muscle tee a little bit as well. So that'll make your arms look sick if you've got the arms. The t-shirt I ain't mad at as well. 155 for the Our Legacy CP Company t-shirt. The waffle shit comes in white as well. The pants, corduroy pants. Oof, 320. I ain't mad at. And there's also these boxer shorts. Yeah, boxer shorts. Oh, that is risky. That is fucking risky. White boxer shorts, you know. Like, I'm confident in my wipes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm confident in my ability to wipe. I'm comfortable or confident in my ability to shake my little pee-pee after I wee-wee. But a pair of white fucking boxer shorts that is risky, bro. Most men out there, that is risky. I do not advise spending £60 on a pair of Our Legacy CP Company. Was that Peliovo boxers? Peliovo boxers in white, because that could end disastrously for you. That could be an absolute disaster. Fucking hell. Oh, there's also a bit of polyester pants there. I'm not mad at. What's on the next page? What's on the next page? Bear with me here. The next page we've got more. Okay, this might be a better option though. There's a Rigatino boxers, which is I guess just pinstripe. The back is really odd, isn't it? Oh, look at the back. The back makes it look like you got shit in your ass. I'm not gonna lie. That cut, I'm not too sure if I like that panel on the back. I'm not gonna lie. The panel on the back makes it look like you got shit in your ass. It's kind of saggy. Wonder what that's about. And here's the detachable hood. The detachable goggle hood. Oh, okay, cool. So the detachable goggle hood works on the... That's weird though. The detachable goggle hood doesn't come in a color that is meant to attach to that fucking parka. Attachable goggle hood. Our Legacy. Oxford. So there's 4 colorways of the detachable goggle hood. Why did that one sell out and not this? There's that and that. Oh, okay, there's 2 colorways. Sorry, there's 2 colorways. There's like a navy and a green. So that greeny colorway sold out first before the navy one. Interesting. Does it come in different sizes, that? I'm curious to know. Does it come? Oh yeah, it does come in different sizes. So it comes in. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know the hoods. I thought they were one size fits all. So these goggle hood things, they come in 3 different sizes: small, medium, large. Oh, that is so hard, man. I'd love to wear some of this. This would be an amazing thing to wear during a DJ set. I'm not gonna lie. During a live stream DJ set, this will look fucking sick. Could you imagine wearing this during a DJ live stream? That would be so fucking cool. Like with the fucking goggles. Oh, I guess headphones would be a hard thing because the fucking hood is covering your ears, but you figure it out. I'd fucking wear this, to be fair. That's a great... Oh, it's got... Look at the details too on the snap buttons at the front. It's got the little CP Company detail right there. That's really nice. That little engraving is... I ain't mad at that little engraving there. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't know they come in different sizes. So there's not a lot left. Only this is available, right? This kind of green one. This, I guess, is grey in a large, which would be probably my head. Small, medium, large. I'm not mad at it. I ain't mad at it in the slightest. Actually, no, that looks kind of cool. I actually liked it. I actually don't mind it mismatched, actually. That looks kind of hard. I'm not going to lie. That looks kind of hard mismatched. Where on this picture, they've got somebody wearing the navy kind of like jacket with a grey or green hood instead. I ain't mad at that. That's actually a cool little design. I ain't mad at it in the slightest. And then, of course, to end it, you got a couple of beanies as well. Yeah, these are the beanies. These are the beanies only made for white people. I think if you have to be a black guy with a bald head, you have to be a super dark skinned guy with a bald head, or you have to be a white dude that likes to roll their own cigarettes. You know, white guys like to roll their own cigarettes will wear this type of a beanie. This what's it called? Benodette wool beanie for 110. What's it made out of, by the way? Is it made out of 100% virgin wool? Yeah, it better be made out of virgin wool for 110. But yeah, this is a dark-skinned black guy with a bald head hat, or a white guy that likes to roll their own cigarettes, you know? Or maybe a white guy that dates like light-skinned girls, you know? Like they love these type of hats. White guys that date light-skinned girls love these type of little fucking shoplifter hats, you know? These little rascal hats. Bless them. But yeah, big up CP Company, big up Our Legacy. The stuff's available to purchase now. Check it out if you're that way inclined. check it out if you're that way inclined. Talking about checking stuff out, Palace Winter 2025 lookbook also dropped. Palace 2025 lookbook also dropped, and I have to say, as a bona fide resident hater of Palace, I'm quite happy to see their demise. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of happy to see the demise, but I'm also gutted to see how much they've dropped off over the years. And I'm kind of wondering why that's the case. I'd love to know. For those of you who end up watching this clip later on after the fact, I'd love for you to let me know in the stream chat or in the comments down below. Why do you think Palace has dropped off so much? Why does it seem like the quality of their ranges, seasonal, isn't as good as it once was? Like, there's obviously still a couple of really good pieces here and there. One of the things I liked in particular that they had, right? Not sure if they still have it now, but the thing that stood out for me, somebody is, again, I'm a resident Palace hater. I'm never going to wear the shit, but still, something that I really liked that they did was this jacket. This jacket is one of my favorite jackets they've ever made. Obviously the Avrex is fucking great, but this jacket they've made here, what's it called? It's called the Quantum. This Quantum puffer right here might be some of the best, might be the best piece they've ever made. And I think they make this every season, a version of this, I'm pretty sure. It's a puffer down jacket that also has a built-in kind of like shiesty in the hood, snood type of thing. And it comes in all these different, all these great colors, right? Most of it's sold out, actually. The orange is still available. There's a blue. Oh, that blue is fucking nice as well with the gridiron parlor. The only thing I don't like about it, again, is this logo, but I think this is just for the kids, right? I'm assuming. The logo on the sleeve is a little bit too much for me. I think it's 3M as well, so it kind of really shines and bounces off shit as well. But God almighty, I love this. This might be one of the best things they've ever done. It's really one of the hardest things they've ever done. I'm not going to lie. But it does. It's not inbuilt. My bad. I thought the snood was inbuilt. It's not. It's detachable. You can take it off. That's pretty cool. So you can take off the little balaclava puffer if you want to, or the balaclava thing, the shiesty, and there's also zips. So that's probably the best thing they've ever done. But apart from that, there's not a lot of stuff that they do recently that kind of excites me anymore when it comes to Palace. But yeah, I wonder why. I guess if I had to guess first off, without going through the range, I would assume the reason why they kind of fall off now and the reason why the collections don't look that cohesive is because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I get the feeling they don't really have a singular creative director. It kind of, most of the lookbooks I've seen, or the ranges, it kind of looks like it's been designed by a committee or by a group of people all submitting their different ideas. And then it kind of, you know, obviously gets put into one collection, but there's not, it doesn't come through one person's, it's not one person's not overseeing the whole thing. Everyone's contributing their ideas maybe equally, which is great, you know. It's a great democratic process, but it then results in a little bit of a mishmash of a collection, and the quality is kind of all over the shop. But again, I could be completely talking out my ass. There could be a creative director who's watching this now thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? I design everything. I don't know. But I just feel like it's a bit all over the place. But let's check out the range here. First thing we got here on the left hand side is a leather jacket, an oversized leather jacket with some Japanese themed tattoo art thing on the back. I don't like it personally. Think it looks a bit shit. Application of it, the white paint as well, not really for me. Maybe an outline of this illustration or of this painting would work better. I know it's probably trying to mimic a tattoo, right? A traditional Japanese tattoo, but then I think I would get rid of the white. You don't really see a lot of guys walking around with white ink on the back of on their backs, right? You see maybe black and stuff. So maybe if I was going for this design, I'd probably get rid of some of the white paint, the white ink. And I also think the jacket itself is weird. It doesn't really, you know what I mean? If you're gonna do this, I would imagine, if that's making sense, I'd probably go and get, I don't know what shape, I don't know what style, but there's definitely going to be a Japanese army, navy, whatever type of jacket that you can get that can kind of maybe look, you know, that can kind of look a bit better. Maybe even the members, I don't know, what's that cafe? I don't know, what's that jacket they use? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The hat doesn't really match the jacket either, and I'm not a fan of the jeans that I can see a little bit of here with the red contrast addition. They look a little bit dead. This puff on the left hand side, which has this, what you call it, broken glass, shattered glass, gunshot glass thing. I don't like this at all. I think this design probably would look better on a hoodie than the down puffer jacket thing. I am quite interested to see though. There is an interesting thing I've seen. I feel like I've seen a more of an increase in brands deciding to make their own puffers. Has anybody noticed that? Am I the only person that's noticed a lot of these streetwear brands are not deciding to collaborate with North Face or Columbia or whoever the brand is to make a puffer? Everyone's trying to make their own version of a puffer. I wonder if it's because of the margins. I wonder if it's because just the lack of collaborations that are on offer. I don't know, but I do remember in the past one of the things that a lot of streetwear brands did was that they would like, you know, one of the main things I used to love about Supreme, or what James JB used to always say, was that instead of trying to make something himself in-house for Supreme, he'd rather connect with somebody who can make it at the highest level so he can offer the customer a better quality product. Case in point, shirts. Before Supreme started to make their own shirts in-house, they would sometimes collaborate. What was the shirt? Was it Brooks Brothers? I think it might have been Brooks Brothers. Obviously the North Face collaboration is a good example of that as well. Before they made their own down jackets, like, hey, who makes the best down jacket? Obviously North Face as well is kind of linked to New York as well in terms of history. But nowadays you're seeing less brands doing that. They'd rather go and try and make their own shoe. They'd rather try and make their own suit in-house, as opposed to going to link up with a suit manufacturer and doing it that way, which, you know, I'm not mad at. But just this application, I think, would work better in a hoodie, if I was being honest. And again, I just don't like the logo, man. I think the logo is just, it's a bit overkill. That, you know, just make it tonal or something. It doesn't, not every place has to be this big fucking Palace logo, because the logo itself is a bit too big anyway. It's a bit too it probably looks better when it's like really massive. When it's this, I don't know. I just think it should be done in a better way. Maybe tonal would make it more sense. But what do I know? There's like an ivory. Oh, I guess that's the updated version of the balaclava polo I just mentioned. I'm not too sure if that zip is skewed or is it just a model holding it that way. Maybe it's a model. So it looks like that puffer I mentioned is gonna be a seasonal thing, and they're gonna make it in different colors all the time. So this is a different version of it. This is kind of like in a white color. I'm not too mad at it at all. This on the left, that's a bit, you know, it's a bit whatever. A Palace sort of like a shirt. I'm not sure if the long sleeve is attached. I'm assuming it probably is, with a New Era hat that has a P on it. Again, I'm not mad at the arch logo. I think the font, the typeface itself is pretty cool, but again, nothing to really write home about. There is a camo jacket on the left hand side, which I'm not really too mad at. The plaid, is that a plaid? What kind of jacket is that? Maybe it's like a plaid sort of camp cat there with a P on it. He's wearing a tracksuit here with 9. It's kind of giving me Regal. I don't know if that's meant to be Ralph Lauren type of a style of a tracksuit, navy tracksuit with a bit of pink, but then the jacket has pink and navy, which, you know, is a bit whatever. This rugby polo is hard though, I'm not gonna lie. It's a Scottish one as well, Scottish theme. That is really good. That I'm not mad at in the slightest. What does it say here on the left hand side? It says Palace Union. I guess it's like a rugby union shirt, right? Maybe a flip on that, but that rugby shirt is really fucking cool. The Palace 09 hat, not my thing. The jersey is really good here. Palace forever. I'm not mad at the jersey. It's a little bit it's probably not going to age that well. It's kind of tied into the trend of what people like nowadays with, I don't know what you'd call this kind of art, but you see it a lot in different places. I'm not mad at the gloves. I would love to get a better angle of the gloves. The gloves look pretty cool. They're the gloves there. Oh, I ain't mad at the gloves. They're these skeleton gloves. So it's got like an X-ray image of or print of a hand on the gloves. I ain't mad at that at all. And it looks like is it digital print? Is it digi printed? Doesn't look like it is. It looks like it might actually be printed on the fabric, because sometimes when you do that digi print thing and you stretch it, it gets all these little gaps. But if you print it on the fabric itself, I forgot how it works, but I think the digi print is a bit shit. But obviously you can iterate it and push them out easier. But yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. There's also a hoodie here. I think that's got the matching. Yeah, see, I think that jacket I mentioned earlier, this design with the kind of just the outline would work better on the back of the jacket than that white paint with the colored paint thing. I think that would be what work way better on the leather jacket personally. But again, what do I know? There's also a P beanie there that isn't too shabby. Varsity jacket. Oh, is that DWE? Sick. DWE on the lookbook, wearing a Palace varsity jacket, which is kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. It says Palace Bode. I'm not really too familiar with this. Oh, I think I've known this cartoon. Was it a comic? I think this was a comic back in the day. Something. I think it's a comic. I do remember this. It's sort of like the characters it's got like a wizard hat that kind of covers most of its upper body, and it's got like red feet. I think there's some sort of comic thing or some sort of book. I swear I've seen this I used to see this in the library back in the day, but it's a pretty decent leather jacket. Sorry, varsity jacket. It looks like it's mostly wool body, mostly wool. Palace on the front, which again is overkill, especially if you've got Palace on the back. I prefer not to have this on the front, but whatever. with some stars on the sleeves and different various illustrations on the front, and some text here with the locations of their stores. I love that DWE has the fucking perm going, by the way. Oh, it's not a perm, he just put his, okay, he probably just took out his braids. I thought he had a little Max B perm going on there. That would have been pretty sick. Let's continue. Oh, I ain't too mad at that at all. I ain't too, actually, this isn't new, is it? No, this isn't the new one. Is it the new one or not the new one? I'm not too sure if this is, I think this is the new one. It should be the new one, right? Yeah. The Palace Bones logo thing is a bit mad. I ain't mad at that. Oh, that Bones graphic is really fucking cool. I ain't mad at that in the slightest. It probably could do without all the text on the bone. Maybe I'll just, again, maybe I'd put a P on there or something instead. But I ain't mad at that. I think that's a fucking cool logo, man. Really fucking cool logo. Again, the purple balaclava puffer, fucking timeless, awesome. Oh, look at that green parka. That green parka I ain't mad at all. In the olive green, that's fucking hard. Would prefer it with a detachable hood. Not sure if that's detachable. And it's really new, the material. So this is nice because you can break it in yourself. Cover it with fucking badges. Maybe spray paint it a little bit. Some marker shit, go crazy. Panasonic stuff, not for me personally. Again, this is for guys who roll up their own cigarettes. I'm good on that shit. The jersey, the tracksuit, this is really cool. This kind of reminds me of, oh, this is like an Ajax flip, isn't it? It's kind of, I don't know, something about it's giving Ajax. Probably isn't, maybe it's Panathinaikos, but there's something in about giving Ajax. Number 1 truth written there. I'm not mad at that. Soccer tracksuit. That beanie, that balaclava is really fun. Balaclava with like teddy ears. I'm not mad at that. In white cheetah print is also cool. And there's a pink, oh, nice pink parka. Not too shabby either. It kind of looks like one of those North Face designs. I've got what parka design it was. Probably a copy of that style. This is awful. But again, this kind of speaks to the this resurgence of like the early 2000s trends. This denim suit is so shit. Oh my god, it's awful. It kind of looks like something you'd buy in fucking Zara or something, or Urban Outfitters. I don't like this at all. This is disgustingly bad. Oh, that leather, yeah, I don't like that one bit. That's awful, awful, awful. Again, this sort of stuff is not going to last. It's not going to age well, right? This is like a jersey. It looks like a hockey jersey with like a tiger biting into like a Palace logo. I don't know. Not for me. That hat ain't too bad actually. I think the hat that matches the varsity jacket, that is actually pretty cool. I like that hat. I'm not really for that quarter zip. I'm cool on that one. Oh, the flannel that DWE is wearing is fucking hard. That purple flannel is really fucking nice. This is really cool. I like that big pocket at the front. That little label on the front of the pocket. It's kind of giving me neighborhood. It's kind of giving me bounty hunter, double taps. I don't know, G-Star. That's a really nice little logo on that pocket. I like that overshirt thing. Oh, I'm not mad at that yet. This either too, by the way. It's kind of giving me True Religion vibes. I'm not mad at this. This contrast stitching hoodie. I imagine it probably comes as a tracksuit. Zip up hoodie, right? This is really mad, and it's got Palace and it's got MMIX on it. I'm not too mad at that. I don't know what the Roman numerals mean, so please forgive me. But I think this is pretty cool. That's like is that like a hockey jersey? Is that like a flip of a hockey jersey? A hockey bomber jacket hoodie thing, similar to what Supreme did back in the day with Champion? I think so. It might be a Champion thing with the no fear eyes type of thing going on there. Again, not really for that, especially with the barbed wire. I think all the Panasonic stuff will age terribly anyway in general. I'm not really a fan of that. There's a little bear beanie in pink that's kind of cute. I'm not mad at that. This jersey, what's that? Nah, what's that say? In Vino Veritas jersey. Then is that, what print is that on that jersey? Is that like snakeskin or leopard skin? I don't know. It's mesh in it as well, right? It's a mesh print. Yeah, not for me there. Oh, this is actually, you know what, that color makes me reminds you of like Inter Milan. So this Ajax or Inter Milan, whatever this flip is, or this tracksuit, I ain't mad at it. This is pretty cool on the left hand side that DWE is wearing. And this shirt as well, I'm not mad at, with the anime or the manga fucking illustration. I'm not mad at this at all. That is pretty cool, and it comes in pink as well. It's quite a nice little button up. It's not an Oxford, but it's a little button up shirt there. Ting situation. There's like a down beanie with like a bit of a bobble on the top. That's kind of cool too. He's also wearing a pretty decent, what's that? Is that a waffle print, grid print sort of overshirt thing? I don't like that hoodie. This, honestly, Palace is pretty shit, man. There's a lot of bad stuff in here. Some good shit, but a lot of bad shit. Like, what the fuck is this hoodie here? This is awful, man. It kind of looks fake as well. It kind of looks like something you'd buy in Upton Park, this blue one. What the fuck is that? Yeah, this is so shit. Even, I don't know, maybe that's camo, right? Yeah, maybe this camo thing he has got on isn't too shabby. This camo set with this, it's got like you got a shirt with some, I like the pockets here at the front. The chest pockets at the front are really nice, really big, really roomy. So I'm not mad at that in the slightest. And it also comes with a matching cargo pant thing. That ain't too shabby. That cardigan is awful, so bad. T-shirt ain't too bad, but ugh. There's a matching jumper to match the varsity jacket. Again, more of that thermal half sleeve stuff. This teddy balaclava thing is definitely going to do well. I think people are going to be into that. The jersey I'm not into at all in the slightest. The tracksuit is horrible. This manga jersey isn't too shabby. And then more Panasonic stuff. This racing bicycle stuff is terrible, man. God, dog, terrible. And then the rest is it's like a packable down jacket. I'm not sure what that is. Come on, man. Shut up, t-shirt. Is that a flip on a FedEx logo, right? There's a FedEx logo that's got shut up. It says Palace. Awful, man. Fucking awful. Wow. Really bad. I'm not gonna lie. Really fucking bad. Not for me in the slightest. When's that meant to be? Okay, this is already the winter range. It's already out already, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the holiday range. My bad, I got the wrong one. So that was winter. This is holiday 2025. So let's see what holiday is saying. This plaid isn't too shabby, I'm not gonna lie. This plaid bomber with a hood, or sorry, this plaid down jacket thing, bubble jacket, is pretty nice. I like what they did here. This is pretty clever. I like what they did here. So they've got this patchwork plaid bomber thing, but then under the sleeves the panel is like nylon. It's not like the whatever this material is, if it's a wool or whatever it is. They switched it to nylon. I imagine they did that because most likely when they did the wear and test whatever of the jacket, they probably got a lot of bubbles underneath here, which kind of ruins it and kind of makes it look like it's poor quality. It's just horrible and you get all these little bubbles. You know what I mean? It's just shit. So in order to avoid getting all those bubbles under your armpits and shit, they just made that material, I guess nylon or whatever, polyester, whatever it is. That's a pretty cool thing. Maybe they just did it to save money, but I think they probably did it in terms of avoiding all the bubbles under your armpits. But you know what as well? This kind of reminds me of what was that? It was like a famous, was it a Burberry jacket? It was like a Burberry jacket from, was it Daniel Lee Burberry? Or was it Riccardo Tisci? It might be Riccardo Tisci era, because I think I remember Tiny Temper wearing it. And this kid kind of looks like Tiny Temper. I think so. I think there was a Tiny Temper Burberry down jacket thing that kind of looks similar to this. So I wonder if this is a flip on that. I don't know. There's like an Aztec jumper thing, cardigan, which looks horrendous in my personal opinion. No thank you. Oh, that jacket is so bad. That jacket is so fucking bad. It's so shit, mate. Even with the little 3M piping thing going around it, it's so bad. And those jeans, I can't wait for the baggy jeans era to be over with. It looks so fucking horrible. This is nice actually. This is kind of cool. This denim bomber jacket with the fur lined hood, or the power line hood. I ain't mad at that. That's actually pretty cool actually. I guess it's a flip on some Dickies jacket or something. I ain't too mad at that either. The Ethel Kane type of model is sort of selling it as well. Not too bad at that. Oh, this is quite nice actually. This shadow plaid zip up. This shadow plaid zip up thing. The model's also selling it well, I think. Again, this Ethel Kane girl. And there's embroidered sort of like caricatures here, angel and a demon. I ain't too mad at that. What is that? Are those headphones or are those ear warmers? There's like these little cutesy pink things with like characters on the cups with eyes and shit. Pink teddy bear. I'm not sure if they're ear warmers or headphones, but I don't like them. There's a trapper hat which I'm quite keen on. This is quite cool. There's also these mitts, right? These Palace mitts. I guess, are they fingerless or they're not? So you can cover your fingers to make them whatever, and then you can also have them with your fingers regularly. I'm not too mad at that, with a button there to keep them there. This quarter zip is pretty cool. Not too mad at the quarter zip. Kind of giving me, I don't know, Patagonia vibes. Not too. I don't like the logo stuff with the back of the jacket thing. No, thank you. I'm not mad at this shirling hoodie thing as well. This shirling hoodie thing isn't too shabby with the hat matches the other pullover. That t-shirt is okay with the angel and the demon. I think this stuff is aging terribly. Another kind of racer inspired type of a design on the long sleeve. Not for me personally. Raglan sleeve ain't too shabby though. The hat is pretty cool. This hat is not too bad with the ear flaps and the strap around the chin. It's like a version of like cheetah print, right? With like piping. I'm not too mad at that. Ooh, I like this hat. That's a really cool hat. That's a really cool hat. I'm not mad at that hat. Is it Panda Bear? I'm not sure what the graphic is meant to be. Some sort of manga character, I don't know, but it's got bare ears on the top, again, ear flaps. But then the front bit has these big googly sort of like anime eyes on it, which I'm not too mad at. The top I don't give a fuck about really. Again, Aztec cardigan thing, no thank you. Contrasting panel hoodie thing, no thank you either. This jacket, not mad at. This jacket with the green panels, I'm not mad at. Nice big pockets at the front. This is okay. Oh, this jacket here on the right hand side. Yeah, to be fair, I'm saying ooh, but I wouldn't wear it, to be fair. That graphic's a bit too gaudy, but I don't mind the real tree camo-esque pants that they both got going on there. Pretty cool. Ooh, this is quite nice actually. This fleece is quite nice. This polar tech, I imagine some sort of, this fleece is nice. It's got like a print of like some Renaissance painting or something, right? In blue. This is very, very nice. I don't mind this at all. But again, what does it have to do with everything else, you know? It's so confusing, this stuff. The collections are all over the place. This has nothing to do with the racer hoodie, the racer long sleeve, even the fucking anime fucking headphone things. It's all over the place. This jersey with like this mountain peak sort of thing is horrendous. Looks very fake, to be fair. This is something you'd buy in Dawson Market. I don't like that in the slightest. The jumper, both of these jumpers are pretty shit. Oh, this is nice. This cheetah print set. Oof. Yeah, I'd wear the fuck out of this. Oh, there's no triangle logos either as well, so no one would know it's Palace. That's good. There's no big Trifrag logo. It just says Palace as a word script here. That's tonal. That's pretty cool. I wonder what these little lines are about. There are these little black lines that go down there. I wonder what are these? Is that 3M? Is that thermal? What is that? Is that a zip? These little black lines. I'm mad at that. There's a hat here. What's this? I don't know what that t-shirt says because the model's hair is covering most of the text. Okay, so what I thought were headphones are what they called ear warmers, which are fucking gay as fuck. I think no man should wear stuff like this, to be fair. If you're a man, you don't wear ear warmers. You fucking thug it out, or you fucking cover your ears with your beanie, but you don't wear ear warmers, please, for love of God. Very, very gay. But what do I know? Oh, this is actually quite nice as well. There's like a fur. Oh, this is, oh, it's not. I thought it was a zip up. It's not. It's a, I guess, was it some sort of, that's kind of cool. It's like an overshirt and it's camo. It's got snap buttons at the front. It's like a fleece, whatever fleece material is, but it's also made an overshirt. That's pretty cool. And then there's also some sort of hoodie that's in green, power looking. It kind of, I don't know if the model's just really skinny or if the clothes are just a little bit too baggy, but it does look like it fits him that well, does it? This is this might be one of the worst things I've ever seen in my Palace. What the fuck is going on? What is this? Black zip up hoodie that has Palace in arc logo on the front. It has these slashes that are meant to, I guess, replicate a tiger, you know, a tiger fucking thing, marks, nails or whatever, claws. And then it's got the tiger print on the fur, you know, inside of the hood. Awful, so bad. Even the way he's smiling, he knows his hoodie's dead. Even the model himself, the way he's smiling, he knows this hoodie is fucking dead. They did him dirty, man. That is a shit hoodie. Yeah, I don't like anything on that particular picture at all. I'm not mad at the digi camo. Again, give me camo, I'm gonna be game. A digi camo Parker with the hood ain't mad at it. It looks like it's downlined as well. It's pretty cool. There's a new era, some sort of football jersey or jumper thing on the inside. I can't really see too much of it. Oh, so bad. They made a Christmas jumper, Christmas cardigan jumper thing with like bare, awful, shockingly bad. Is that it? Fucking hell. This is pretty shit, I'm not gonna lie. And when's this in store? It's in store when? November 28th, so next week. So it launches in store Friday, November 28th in the UK, and then launches on Saturday in Japan and Korea on the 29th. So 20th and 29th. But it's pretty shit, man. Pretty shit. But hey, what do I know? I'm pretty shit myself. I'm pretty shit myself. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Agostinho Zinga Show episode number 972. Agostinho Zinga Show episode number 972. For those of you who've been tuning in live, I appreciate you so much. Smash the like, hit subscribe, and all that good shit. We've greatly appreciated. Timestamps will be added on later and all that malarkey. If you're listening via the podcast app, you should be hearing via the podcast app my tune of the day. My tune of the day will be from the one and only super talented MJ Lederman, and the song is Knockin. Knockin by MJ Lederman will be playing with my voice as a song of the day. For those of you listening via the audio side of the pod, for those of you listening via the watching via the video side of things, streaming, it will just fade to black, unfortunately, because I can't play the tune because of copyright restrictions. But you should join me on the random show, which will begin in 5 to 10 minutes. One episode of the random show beginning in 5 to 10 minutes. But everybody else, thank you for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have your company. Thank you for tuning in to the Agostinho Zinga Show episode number 972. See you guys again very soon. Peace.